Welcome to the channel for the future caretakers of resurrected species. Welcome to the Paleo-Zoo-Keepers Association.
Oh, hello there. Welcome to the Paleo-Zoo-Keepers Association. My name is Austin. As I'm pretty certain many of you are always looking forward to my Paleo-Vaders videos. I am too. I mean, I definitely love making videos about how to take care of wild animals in captivity. But, especially ever since, they brought up the idea in the Jurassic franchise, I always wonder what happened if extinct species were introduced to the modern era in a modern ecosystem. And, yeah. And one species I'd definitely be interested to see how they would do in a modern ecology is the Phorusrhacos, or commonly known as the terror bird. And what ecosystem? The African Serengeti. I wondered because, as many of you are, I was introduced to this species through the Walking with Prehistoric Beasts, and I wondered, well, they lived in an environment that's not too dissimilar from the savannas of Africa, only they were in the pampas of South America. So, how would that go? The Phorusrhacos, the terror bird. Its name Phorusrhacos, the rock, is from Greek words Phorus, meaning bearer, and rhacos, meaning rag or wrinkle, due to its wrinkly beak. It would even mean a rag thief or branch holder. It is a member of a family of birds commonly known as terror birds, and scientifically also known as Phorusrhacidae. So this species is the originator of the family's name. Phorusrhacos stood at a height of 7 feet and 10 inches tall and weighed around 290 pounds, a weight very similar to that of a male ostrich. While their stubby wings would not be any use for flying, its strong legs helped them run at speeds of 30 to 31 miles per hour, which are also comparable to the running speed of modern-day ostriches. Their legs provided the stability and balance needed to be able to go after prey at high speeds. Here is a replica of the terror bird's skull, but believe it or not, of the Phorusrhacos. Believe it or not, this is not life-size. The real terror bird, the real Phorusrhacos skull is actually about 26 inches long. Pretty long. So, and even funnily enough, back when it was first discovered, it was basically a jawbone, and they thought it was basically the jawbone of a xenopharan animal, like basically like a mammal, like an anteater. Of course, you can imagine their surprise when it was a bird with a head that big. And as the name will probably give it away, the terror birds, Phorusrhacos, and all of its other relatives are all carnivores. You can tell because you see, he has the hooked end of the beak, where it could be able to grab prey and rip the meat off, a lot like birds of prey today. And how they will usually kill their prey is that they could be able to hold their hands back and then bam, hit really like a pickaxe. Like a slamming pickaxe, and be able to kill it with a lightning speed and very hard. So it will definitely be a bird you don't want to get pecked at. One heck of a pecking order. Like the vast majority of terror birds, the Phorusrhacos is said to be native to South America. For this species, it is in the Patagonian region of present-day Argentina and Chile, during a period of time from early to middle Miocene. They're said to be 20 to 13 million years ago. In terms of its habitat, it is thought to have inhabited woodlands and grasslands. According to the fossil record, it was tropical, subtropical climate that was warmer and wetter than it is today, with its habitat being packed with ground sloughs, giant armadillos, and very peculiar hoofed animals, which I will get to later. Prior to the Americas connecting in an event that was called the Great American Interchange, when the Isthmus of Panama became land and the animals could be able to move between the continents, the Phorusrhacos and its terror bird kin were the top predators of the continent. While there were like crocodilians and metatherians, mammals that are related to marsupials, or probably are marsupials, still iffy on that. Anyway, terror birds were generally dominant, the top dominant predators of the continent. Now, generally, each species of a terror bird does have their own type, specific types of prey. For the Phorusrhacos, their potential prey would include small to medium-sized animals. With its ability to run down relatively fast animals, this terror bird would more likely hunt herbivores that were smaller than itself that lived in the same environment. Among some of these potential prey options, there are small species of South American native ungulates from the Noda ungulate family, which is a family of ungulates that, while they are somewhat closely related to pterodactyls, which includes rhinos and horses, they are not that closely related to any other hoofed animal that is living today. Some would definitely be small enough like the Thalatherium here. I hope I pronounced that right. It's a little horse-like, gazelle-like animal. Will definitely become a good meal for the Phorusrhacos. Modern paleontological analysis shows that some territories may have targeted smaller prey, like rodents, which could be killed with a forceful downward peck. Oh, well, now that we got a pretty good idea about what our animal would be, what about the environment itself? It probably should be go without question, since most people should know about the African Serengeti. For those of you who don't know, the Serengeti is an ecosystem that is located in the northern part of Tanzania in the continent of Africa. The protected area within the region includes approximately 12,000 square miles of land. The word Serengeti is said to derive from the Maasai word Serengeti, which means endless plains. With this, it would be obvious that Serengeti has vast expanses of plains, with floodplains near Lake Victoria and some woodlands from acacia to broadleaf woodlands. The Serengeti's temperature averages are consistently warm, with daily highs of around 80 degrees Fahrenheit with nightly lows of 57 degrees Fahrenheit, though these can vary by location. Rainfall varies significantly across the park, with the drier southeast receiving approximately 16 inches annually, with the wetter northwest areas near the Kenyan border would receive up to 47 inches. The Serengeti is well known for its wildlife within its ecology, especially well known for the large migrations of wildebeest and other hoofed animals like zebras, along with other grazing animals like from gazelles to Cape buffalo. They're known to have them in large numbers. Hunting these herbivores is a variety of predators, especially large populations of lions. On habitat adaptation, the Phorusrhacos is adapting to the Serengeti. The Phorusrhacos is a habitat that is described in the Santa Cruz Formation and the African Serengeti. They both have their similarities and their differences. Both of them would have pretty big implications for the Phorusrhacos. Both habitats are not uniform. They're both a mosaic of open savannas, grasslands, semi-deciduous forests, gallery forests along waterways, and have marshlands as well. Both habitats have have a large abundance of grazing mammals, with the Serengeti having the famous ungulates like the large herds of wildebeest, and the Santa Cruz Formation had unusual yet vast herds of grazing mammals. I would also point out that both ecosystems have a large biodiversity of floral fauna. Well, Serengeti still has, while the Santa Cruz Formation definitely shows signs that they had that. While they have the similarities, they also have the differences too. Like Santa Cruz Formation is that while both Serengeti and Santa Cruz Formation, where the Phorusrhacos was found, are warm, the ecology of the Santa Cruz fossil formation when the Phorusrhacos was still around was wetter, while the Serengeti is definitely drier. The Santa Cruz ecology in the midst of the Miocene climatic optimum was warmer and more humid, and less seasonal variation and rainfall than the Serengeti is today. Whereas the Serengeti has quite distinct dry and wet seasons that can have an effect on the landscape and the migratory behaviors of the herds of grazers. And of course, this difference can have a lot of effects on the terror bird, more than you think. While the wet season would obviously provide a lot of food for the terror birds, the dry season would definitely have a negative effect on the birds. When the vast herds migrate away, and assuming that the Phorusrhacos doesn't have a migration instinct, the birds will have to rely on smaller game and roam further and expand their home ranges. Along with limited food during the dry season, the dry heat would cause stress to the birds. While their respiratory system would help them cool off, the birds would get dehydrated more easily, and this would mean that they would need to have a permanent or close to a permanent body of water in their territory. And this would increase territorial tensions between both each other and other animals. The dry seasons will also affect the reproduction, making them produce less often initially, and this would affect their population and its growth. While the dry seasons would definitely be a challenge for the terror bird, they would be able to adapt to this new change as long as there is water and potential food. And speaking of which, let's get to that. Just like in its native habitat, Phorusrhacos definitely has a large plethora of prey that it could feast upon in the Serengeti. Just like mentioned earlier, the Phorusrhacos primarily hunts on small to medium-sized prey, which includes ungulates, rodents, and maybe even insects. Now, in biology, what qualifies as medium-sized prey is not a fixed measurement, but it would depend on the predator's size and hunting capabilities. For most predators, medium-sized prey is approximately 10 to 20% of their own weight. And the prey size is also limited by the energy cost of the hunt versus the nutritional gain. With this in mind, we could probably say that the animals that are between 29 to 58 pounds would be considered medium size for the Phorusrhacos. While there definitely will be possibilities of the terror bird hunting animals bigger than this, it will probably be less common and would depend on the effectiveness of the bird's killing technique and the context surrounding the prey animal. Let's cover some of the antelope species that would fit this weight class, especially since there's a large diversity of antelope in the Serengeti. Seriously, it's almost like the mammalian equivalent of bird watching. Anyway, and doing the birds rang in South America, there are several hoofed animals that are very similar to the antelope here. So there's definitely going to be some species that would definitely be a good meal for the Phorusrhacos. First would be the dik-dik. Being amongst the smallest species of antelope in the world, if not the smallest, and they generally weigh between 6 to 13 pounds, yeah, they're definitely within the weight class of prey that the Phorusrhacos can feast upon. Stenboks, they weigh between 15 to 35 pounds, Well, on average, they will weigh around 26 pounds, so definitely within the weight range of the Phorusrhacos prey size. With the Oribi, its weight typically falls between 26 to 48 pounds. Its figures could be a little different, but this is definitely within the weight range of Phorusrhacos' prey. Reedbucks are a tad on the big side, although the females of the species would definitely fit within the weight category for the Phorusrhacos. The Gearnook would definitely fit within the prey range of the Phorusrhacos, although females fit more into the weight class than the males do. The Thompson's Gazelle, that classic prey of the cheetah, it's definitely within the weight class for Phorusrhacos, weighing from as low as 33 pounds to up to 77 pounds. They would definitely be within the weight class as prey for the Phorusrhacos. There are many other species of antelope in the Serengeti, but a lot of them would probably be a little above the weight class and will generally be a good opportunity in case of scavenging or going after their calves. Or even like you got that one chance where like a large species of antelope had an injury and will make it easier for the Phorusrhacos to go at it. One example of the Phorusrhacos will be growing more often with the calves would be the wildebeest. When wildebeest have their annual migrations, and especially when they have their calving seasons, it will definitely have a large impact on the terror birds. Throughout their annual migrations, the wildebeest will fatten up any predator that's able to hunt them. While it may be circumstantial for Phorusrhacos to go after adults, calves, especially those that are either newly born or at least a few weeks old, would definitely make a great meal for the bird, presuming they could be able to catch them and not get injured by the mother in the process. Warthogs would definitely be a good potential meal, but not without risk. An unwell hog or piglet would definitely be considered an easy meal for the bird, especially when the bird can actually swallow a piglet whole. A large boar or a very protective mother pig, both of which are healthy, would be risky and dangerous for the terror bird, so it would need to hit hard and fast to be able to make a successful kill of this porker. There would be a lot of small animals that Phorusrhacos would gobble up, from the weird rodent-like elephant relative hyraxes to even small predators like the serval. Basically, any small animal that they could overpower is fair game for the terror bird. Even the infamous honey badger would become a potential prey as well, but not without a fight. Primates like the verdict monkey and the olive baboon would definitely be interesting, since while they were preys in South America at the same time as the Phorusrhacos, both had very different habitat preferences. Like the South American primates would prefer rainforest, while the terror bird preferred more open habitats. Both are pretty smart animals, so it would be like a battle of wits. Also, the social behavior of most Serengeti primates would make it difficult for the bird to be able to sneak in close enough, but it's not impossible. One particular prey animal that could be a possibility for the Phorusrhacos is the ostrich. Both birds are around the same weight and can run at the same speeds. And while taking an adult would probably be risky, taking out a young ostrich like a chick would definitely be a more likely target for the terror bird. Now let's get back to the hoofed animals. A fully grown zebra would probably not be a prey animal possible for a terror bird takedown, well, at least often, outside of circumstances, that is. But their foals are pretty close to their prey preference. Adult zebra are known to be pretty aggressive, and this would make them very dangerous, even to an adult Phorusrhacos. A Cape buffalo would be considered crazy, if not suicidal, for a terror bird to go after. Their weight, power, and horns would make them impervious to the bird, although a newborn calf is within the limits of as a medium-sized prey animal for the terror bird. The herd mentality of the Cape buffalo would make it difficult, if not impossible, for the bird to be able to get at it. Rhinos would definitely be out of the question. Even their calves would be immensely difficult for the birds to get at. The rhino-like toxodons that did live with the birds were a bit smaller than the rhinos of today, but they probably presented the same issues as modern-day rhinos would. Like rhinos, fully grown hippos are definitely out of the question, especially with their large size, 2-inch thick hides, piercing teeth, and crushing jaws. Calves are a potential meal, but with their protective mothers and spending most of their time in the water, this is not very likely. With their immense height and powerful legs, giraffes, when they're fully grown, would definitely not be the prey animal that a terror bird could take on. Although their calves would still be a good prey when the opportunity presents itself. Weighing up to 5 tons and standing up at 10 to 12 feet tall, fully grown African elephants would not be a potential prey item for the terror bird, though calves could be if the opportunity presents itself. While terror birds wouldn't be able to take down a prey animal as large as the African elephant, the carcasses of such animals would still be a valuable source of meat for the birds as a scavenging opportunity. Just as the elephant carcass would draw in the terror birds, they will also draw in the scavengers and predators that would be the birds' greatest rivals. Before we get into the predators that the terror bird will be competing with in the Serengeti, there's a common misconception about terror birds and mammalian predators we need to clear out. For a long time, terror birds were the top predators of South America for a long time, of course. And it was once thought that by scientists that when the North and South America continents became connected, the birds were pretty much outcompeted by the invading mammal predators from the north, a phenomenon that is called the Great American Interchange. While a good amount of terror birds were outcompeted by the invasive predators, we have evidence that smaller terror birds were able to survive for a long time, and there's even decently large species of terror birds that were able to survive. One of them was Titanus, a large terror bird that not only survived and lived alongside mammalian predators, but was able to go up north in North America as far as Texas and Florida, deep within the territory of ancestors of saber-toothed cats and wolves. Nowadays, it's often agreed that while competition with mammalian predators did cause the decline, the change in habitat and climate did that along with. Now, we're just going to assume that for this video, the Phorusrhacos was able to make the same leap as the North American terror bird did, and go from there. But first, let's look at the competition. Some of the predators that would be affected by the terror birds first were actually mentioned earlier. Servals would compete with the terror bird when it comes to small prey, and they would go after terror bird chicks if possible. But they will also become prey for the bird in turn as well. While the honey badger would be a potential prey to the terror bird, it won't give up without a fight, as mentioned earlier, and would both compete with the bird for small prey, and the badger would go after the terror bird's eggs and chicks if the opportunity presents itself. The cheetah, the fastest land animal on Earth, might be able to catch some of the fastest prey on the continent, but it is generally a lightweight when it comes to dealing with competing predators, so much so that when a cheetah makes a kill, it has to wolf down as much as it can before a competitor comes about to steal the kill. This happens because the cheetah is frail in comparison to other predators in the Serengeti, and while they are fast, they're not very durable. They can do their 60-70 mile per hour sprint in a time span of a few seconds to a minute, and after that, they will need a rest to cool off for 30 minutes to over an hour. Think of it like a car that has no coolant. It will go, but only for a short period of time before it overheats. With this in mind, it definitely stands to reason that if a terror bird or two saw the cheetah succeed in a hunt and came up to claim the kill, the cheetah will be scared off the kill, and the bird or birds will claim the kill. Also, like other predators in the Serengeti, the Phorusrhacos would see cheetah cubs as prey and go at them when possible. When this would be the usual case, they would turn the tables when it came to young terror bird chicks, like how cheetahs would do to ostriches and their chicks today. As Africa's answer to the American coyote, the jackal is an opportunistic predator and scavenger of the savanna. While it would take the opportunity to go at a terror bird's eggs and chicks, a jackal would basically become another prey item for the terror bird if the opportunity for the bird is presented. A pack of jackals would be overwhelming to an individual bird, probably not to the point of killing off the bird, probably enough to get it away from its chicks, eggs, and kill, if the pack is big enough. Jackals aren't the only canids that the terror bird would face. African hunting or painted dogs are present as well. Unlike jackals that are not really that big of an issue for adults, the African hunting dog would probably be a different story. They're larger, lived in larger packs, and the packs are much more complex than that of jackals. While a terror bird would overpower a single dog or dominate over a small kill, a large pack would overwhelm or more likely intimidate a single bird. But this would be risky, considering the bird's beak and talons. The stealthy assassin of the savannah, or the prince of beasts that leopards are known for, would not do well against an adult bird in a single combat. The bird will need a strike of its beak to kill the leopard. However, the leopard would take advantage with its stealth and power against young birds. Also, with their habit of dragging their kills up trees, this would help them in keeping their kills away from any opportunistic birds. And a lot of the prey that leopards would hunt on average fall within the prey range of that of the terror birds as well. So they will definitely be a significant competitor with the terror birds for food. The spotted hyena would be an absolute nightmare to the Phorusrhacos. While a single hyena might not do so well against an individual adult bird, the individual animal's bone-crushing bite and surprising intelligence would definitely be a problem. Also, the hyena would really become a danger to an individual bird when there's more of them, whether a pair or a whole clan of them. A whole clan of hyenas would definitely steal a kill from a terror bird or keep them away from a potential carcass. Also, the spotted hyena would be an immense threat to the terror bird's eggs and offspring. With their intelligence and cooperation, especially their cooperative intelligence, even surpasses that of chimpanzees, one hyena could distract the mother or father, if they're like ostriches, from the nest, while another hyena could go for the nest. This won't be without risk, though. If the hyenas fail to do it properly, one of the hyenas could be killed and possibly become a meal for the parents-to-be. Next in line after the spotted hyena, the largest and most apex mammalian predator of the continent would definitely be a nightmare for the terror bird. On a one-on-one fight, while they can still be pretty dangerous to a terror bird, a lioness would probably have some issues with the bird. Not without a fierce fight. However, a large male would definitely beat up a Phorusrhacos with its great strength, weight, and formidable weapons. So, neither side is going to go down without a fight. With the whole pride of lions, it would not go so well for the bird. When faced with the whole pride of lions, the terror bird would definitely run away or even become prey to this group of cats. While an individual lioness might get killed by the bird if the bird decided to fight the pride, there will be multiple lions that would take the opening when or if this happens. However, the tables can turn. While yes, that Phorusrhacos' chicks and eggs would be vulnerable to lion predation, their cubs could be susceptible to the terror bird's predation as well. If a terror bird has found an unintended litter of lion cubs, they will definitely take this opportunity and gobble up the lion cubs with a voracious appetite. While different, the Nile crocodile is a creature that Phorusrhacos would be a bit familiar to, for fossils have shown that, especially in Colombia, show that a giant caiman, a distant relative of the Nile crocodile, did hunt terror birds. While the terror bird would hunt crocodile hatchlings when the opportunity is there, the bird would definitely try to avoid crocodiles and be wary around sources of water. Vultures, instead of being competition, they would provide an excellent service for the terror birds. Examinations of a terror bird's brain cast has shown that the bird is not only very well balanced when running, but it's also relatively smart. While it's not on the same level as complex reasoning like modern corvids or parrots, its intelligence is comparable to that of modern day predatory birds like hawks and eagles. With this in mind, along with them having a very powerful eyesight, the terror bird would definitely be smart enough to be able to watch out for vultures, for the presence of vultures would mean a carcass is available. It wouldn't be too much of a stretch, for we have evidence that Phorusrhacos did live beside New World vultures and condors, so they would have had the same behavior with them as well, and it would easily just transition to this behavior with the African species. With the terror bird being a pretty large and powerful predator, it definitely stands to reason that terror bird would definitely be have conflict with humans. Very much so. One group of people that would definitely be in conflict with the terror bird are the Maasai. With the Maasai being a tribe that are generally pastoralists, their livestock are their livelihoods: sheep, goats, and cows, with their cows being the most prized, with cows famously being their currency. Now, while sheep and goats are definitely vulnerable to the terror birds, the calves of cattle would definitely be more of a potential prey for the bird than the adult cattle. But you never know. With this in mind, it will definitely be obvious that if a terror bird decided to go after livestock, they would definitely be within the crosshairs of the Maasai, just like how the other African predators would be. And it's even possible that the Maasai would also hunt these birds if they're in the area to be able to keep them from going after their livestock, and probably for another good reason as well. That good reason, would be that with them being around the same size and weight as an ostrich, and with them having a skull that's actually 26 inches long, definitely bigger than this, a Phorusrhacos would definitely be a potential danger to humans, especially the children. So I can definitely imagine that, like the lions and hyenas and leopards of the African savannas, terror birds would potentially see humans, especially young children, as prey. So they would definitely bring up conflicts with the local populace. This will most likely happen during like dry seasons and when there's a times of famine. When there's a lot of prey around, especially adequate sized prey, they would definitely probably the attacks may be less. But there's always going to be that one rogue take that would decide to just go for it anyway. So, needless to say, these birds will definitely be in a conflict with both the Maasai and even other farms and ranches out there. So they would definitely be trouble. While there will definitely be a lot of struggles for the terror bird that comes from both predators and prey, there is still a potential niche for these birds to be able to survive the Serengeti. So, in short, he will definitely find himself a niche here and will do well in the African savanna. Hey there, if you made it this far, thank you for watching the video. This topic was always a fascinating one of mine, especially ever since I saw the terror birds in the Walking with Beasts show, and even seeing on Prehistoric Park and wondering what would happen if a terror bird got loose in the African ecosystem. So it was definitely a fun topic to research on. This video has been sponsored by David Glean. I want to thank you for your sponsorship, and if you haven't already, check out his YouTube channel and give him his like, subscribe, and everything that he deserves. I'll send a link to his channel in the description box down below. I also want to say thank you to artists Keenan Taylor and TrendorMan. They've both been able to illustrate my concepts and bring them to life. So again, I want to thank you guys so much for this. I will send you guys the links to their pages down below. Also, I want to say thank you to my subscribers, members, patrons, and viewers like you. Thank you. And if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share this with people who you know would love this kind of topic. Next month, we'll be on feeding Gorgonopsids. There may be more to feeding these guys than one would think. I hope that each and every one of you has a great day. Adios!